What up, everyone? I'm Chance Foreman, and this is our chance to inspire. Have you ever been on the fast track to success, or at least everything in your life been going right for you, all one repeated thing after another, and then boom, everything crashed down or flip upside down and change really fast? Has that ever happened to you? Because it happened to me. And I want to share that story because this week we've been touching on clarity all week on all my handles, and I really want to share with you guys how I found clarity in a really traumatic situation, in a really stressful environment. See, last March, my daughter suffered a spinal cord injury at birth. She was internally decapitated at level C5 and C6 on the vertebrae. It left her a quadriplegic on a ventilator to breathe. And this really had me learning and educating myself in some way I never thought I would have. See, I've never been a science guy. And this day, I had to change. I had to make a lot of changes. I had to make a lot of decisions. My family, my wife and I had to make a lot of decisions. It was a very stressful environment. The doctors all rushed around her, and the specialists and the respiratory therapists and the nurses, for hours and hours. We couldn't even really get close to her because she was being operated on, and they were trying to get her blood pressure under control and just stabilize her. So I stood in the distance watching these things in the first hours of my daughter's birth. My wife wasn't even able to come down because the birth was so traumatic that she suffered some injuries from it. So she had to stay in the room, and I had to leave my wife. We didn't get to lay in bed with our newborn baby. And I had to go down to the NICU, be the center of attention in this huge room with all these other sad situations. But I'm grateful. I'm lucky because we have modern medicine, and we have technology, and we were able to do some things that have never been done. They saved the first infant spinal cord injury baby at birth. That's never happened, at least not to my knowledge. And if it has, I would love to connect with someone else that it's happened to. I've been searching, I've been looking. The Stanford pediatric neurosurgeon told me that he couldn't find any medical literature on it. So they didn't have any guidelines to go off of. They didn't have any blueprints to look at. This was a one-time thing. Yes, it had happened before, but she was the first to survive. So I stood back and I watched all these things, and my mind filled with all these questions and all these concerns. And I wondered if she was going to make it. I yearned to know if she was going to make it. My wife wanted to know. And I snuck away, and I got to talk to my wife and the rest of the family. And we all congregated together. And that's when they came and they had told us that how bad her injury was. And they kept asking us this question. If this was really the life we wanted, if this was really the life we wanted to live, if this was really the life that Lillian would want. My daughter's name is Lillian. And they would ask it repeatedly. Every time we saw them, they would start that conversation and end the conversation the same. Is this really what you want? Are you prepared to take care of a child of this magnitude? Or are you prepared to not be able to take care of your child because she's going to be institutionalized, she's going to be in a hospital for the rest of her life? And this really, really made you think. And with all the stresses of owning my businesses and managing the day-to-day life of business and your home life and rent and your animals, and I could only imagine this happening to another family that had older children, and how would they take care of them while they're stuck in the NICU? So my heart really goes out to people like that. But what I'm here to talk to you about is clarity, and how I found clarity in this moment of stress and turmoil and heartache. So at that first night, after all the mess of the specialists and the doctors and all of them kind of dissipated, and they had somewhat had her stable enough, at least on monitors, and the oscillator was running to help her breathe, and my wife was trying to get some rest. I was able to sneak down there into the NICU, and there was only one nurse bedside, and I asked if I could just have a moment to talk with my daughter, to see what she wanted, to get a vibe off her, to connect with her. So I walked over to the incubator and I opened the little door and I stuck my hand inside and I put my hand on her chest and I asked her, Lillian, what do you want me to do? Are you okay? And I prayed and I put out all this emotions. She looked over at me. She couldn't really move her head because of the injury, and they had it braced up. Her face was smashed on the left side, but that right eye popped open, and she looked at me. She didn't blink. She stared at me, and I stared back. And I asked her, I said, hey, Lillian, what do you want from Daddy? What can I do to make this better? I know life's going to be really hard for you, and we're going to have a lot of struggles, but I want you to know that I'm there for you, and I'll do anything you need. Just tell me. Can you talk to me? And some of you, this might sound crazy, but she did. She talked to me in that exact moment, and I'll remember this moment for the rest of my life. This is a moment that changed everything for me. She looked at me with that eye, and she never blinked. 30 seconds, a minute, it could have been longer, I don't know. But she looked and she said, Dad, I'm gonna fight. And I'm gonna fight as long and as hard as I can. But you have to promise me one thing. You have to promise me that you and Mom are gonna fight just as hard for me. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. All that cloudiness and that stress and that drama from the injury itself and from my outside the hospital responsibilities, all of that cloudiness just disappeared. I took some really, really deep breaths, and I knew what I had to do. I had to fight. I had to give her everything that she deserved. If we needed a specialist in a different hospital, in a different state, in a different country, wherever, whatever this little girl needed, I knew that I had to be the one. My wife and I had to be the ones to advocate for her, to give her the best quality of life. So that's what we did. In the days to follow, the weeks and the months to follow, we had a lot of decisions to be made. A lot of procedures were going to go on, and it was new to me. Like I said, I wasn't a science guy, and I've never wanted to be a doctor, so the medical and biology and all of this stuff, it really confused me, but I had to learn. I had to educate myself. I had to read books. My wife would study relentlessly medical research journals, trying to figure out other patients that this has happened to, other kids, older people, you know. And we would educate ourselves as much as physically possible, because they would come to us daily, we need to do this procedure, and we think she needs this operation. We're gonna have to postpone her spinal fusion to fuse her spine back together until we can get her stable enough to roll her on her stomach to do so. So she laid there for 3 months before we were even able to transfer to another hospital where there was a surgeon capable enough to perform the surgery. She laid there for 3 months flat on her back. They would come and lift her up for 5 minutes 3 times a day to let her back air out and check it for bed sores, just to make sure she didn't have any breakdown. And all of this, it made me cloudy still. Like I said, I had found clarity. I knew what I had to do, but how was I gonna make these decisions in something I wasn't so educated in? So that's what I had to do. I had to learn, but I had to find clarity. I had to get clear. So I would go outside and I would practice breathing exercises, just like the ones I've been sharing with you guys on Instagram and Facebook all week, and on my website, chancetoinspire.com. You could go there and you can look at all kinds of other things where we've written on ways we found clarity, and other specialists and doctors have have written books on how to find clarity and different breathing exercises, and we even put out some videos for you to meditate to and really relax your body and find that clear vision in your head for whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to achieve right now. What I did was I would go outside because I love fresh air, and I would take deep breaths. And I learned this when I was a kid, and this is what helped me a lot of times in all of my business decisions and life decisions, and really finding that clear mindset and becoming mindful of what I wanted and of my goals. And I would do these little simple exercises, 10 deep, meaningful breaths. And I would do this 10 times. But if I got interrupted with some kind of stressful thought, or something bad would come into my head, or some type of drama or something, anything outside noise came back in my head, I had to start over and recount. So 10 straight breaths in a row, deep. And that would really clear my mind. It would really re-oxygenate my body, my mind, so I could have those clear thoughts and make clear decisions. And this was huge. This was detrimental, I feel, for Lillian's life. You know, my wife had gone through something really crazy that I hadn't had to personally, physically experience like she had. So I had to be there for the both of them. She just experienced something that she thought was going to be the best moment of her life, and it turned to the worst. Could you imagine that? For some of you, I know you've had those same experiences, and that's what Chance to Inspire is. It's my opportunity to take my story, to connect with you, to inspire you, to lift up, to take life to the next level, to not let your struggles or circumstance of life hold you back. Because I know you're great. Because I know I'm great. This week I got to talk to someone really incredible. And what's crazy about it is Saturday was Cerebral Palsy Awareness Day. So I got to interview someone that really helped me find clarity through all of this. Her name's Jonelle. She was a childhood friend of my wife's, and she was born with cerebral palsy. I got to get to know her story. You can go check it out on the blog, on our website, chancetoinspire.com, and get some more awareness on another type of birth trauma, on someone that is really wonderful and wants to uplift others and be seen as an everyday normal person and not be seen as someone with a disorder. And I can really relate to that. I always tried to treat people like with some kind of disability of any type with the same type of energy or enthusiasm or everything that I would with any ordinary person, because they're ordinary human beings. If anything, they're extraordinary human beings. Definitely someone like Jonelle, our hero of the week, someone that can smile and live a wonderful life and cheer people up no matter what her disability is, what other people would let hold them back. And I want you to know that you can do that same thing, whether you're a caretaker or you have disabilities, or even if you know someone that does, to treat them the same, to give them that same common courtesy that you would give to your mother, your brother, your best friend, because they are human beings and they have feelings too. And I really related with this one because I think about how Lillian's life is going to be growing up. Is she going to have any of those issues? So I was lucky enough to meet with Jonelle, and I hope you take the time to go learn about her story, to learn about cerebral palsy, to gain awareness in it, and to just live a better, fuller life. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming and listening to me talk and to listen to my story. Make sure you follow me on all my handles, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube. Come on, do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and subscribe to the YouTube so we can create a domino effect of inspiration and inspire the masses. So that's what I want to do. If I can connect with you every week, then from your stories and from your feedback, you inspire me, and I hope that I can continue to inspire you. Have a good day, everyone. I'm out of here. Peace.